Hello, welcome to Video Mania 2. I'm the man behind the counter, Duncan, and today we're going to be talking about the newly released As Ice Blu-ray, the movie starring Vanilla Ice that was made to cash in on his newfound fame. The problem is, when the movie came out, his trajectory of fame was declining very quickly. So his story is fascinating in and of itself. Somebody that became that big and fell off that quickly. I mean, within a span of a year, basically. So that's a story in and of itself. But Cool as Ice is a product of that. They were trying to cash in. Now, the movie is cheesy, campy, silly fun with some dialogue that is quite hilarious at times. So this movie does have some redeeming value. It's enjoyably bad. I mean, this thing didn't try to take itself too seriously, so it does have that going for it. If you watch it in the right frame of mind, there is some fun to be had. Now, the Blu-ray transfer is phenomenal. This movie has a lot of music, and Ice's outfits are wacky and crazy and quite colorful. And this Blu-ray transfer, the film has never looked better. So, everything really pops out on this transfer. So Kino Lorber did an amazing job with that. Now let's get into the story, which you could tell was thrown together pretty quickly. Vanilla Ice basically plays himself, but the character's name is Johnny Van Owens. Owen, I think that's it. Anyway, he is a rapper and he's on tour, and they ride motorcycles across the country, him and his crew, and they are going through this small California town, and one of his crew members, the bike breaks down. So they have to get it repaired. And on his way there, before the bike broke down, he spots this girl riding a horse, and her name's Kathy. She's this uptight, goody two-shoes student who's off to do, the cliched things, big future ahead of him, but she has a boyfriend she's really not into, and Johnny comes along, and she's repulsed by him at first, but then she's strangely attracted to him as well. You know where this is going. So that's an excuse to do some montages, get some musical numbers in, and some unintentional comedy. And this movie is very 1991, and 1991 was a special year to me personally. It's one of the best years of my life. But it's a transitional year for pop culture because the 80s stuff was falling off, and the 90s hadn't really found its identity yet. So it really captures that 1991 feel. That's one thing this movie does do. Now, another thing with all these montages and musical numbers, I noticed this movie looked very good. It was well shot, and I kept wondering, what happened. I saw the cinematography was done by a guy named Janusz Kaminski, who went on to collaborate with Steven Spielberg many times. He did the cinematography for Saving Private Ryan, so that explains why it looks so good. I mean, Saving Private Ryan is one of the best shot movies ever made. I mean, that thing is a technical masterpiece. So he didn't phone it in for this. You could see his touch on this. I mean, it looks good. So, it could go into, if you want to find a bad movie that was the best shot, this would be in that category. You could definitely make an argument for it. Now, as the story continues, Vanilla Ice, he plays the bad boy, and she starts to become attracted to him. And then her father, Kathy's father, is actually a policeman in another life, and he's in the witness protection now, and he ripped off some former cops, and now they found out where he is, and Vanilla Ice has to come save the day. So this was all thrown together. It's not taken too seriously. It's not given a lot of weight, because this movie was made just to cash in on Vanilla Ice's fame. But if you watch this in the right frame of mind, there is some fun to be had here. And I would strangely recommend it because, I mean, if you're getting with your friends tonight, you want to watch something light and have some laughs and see a movie that is an oddity unto itself, pick this up because it is definitely that. Now, everything here moves along at a brisk pace, so it's done in 90 minutes. And one thing, it doesn't really have much special features, but one thing I will say is it does have some commentary by film historians, and I looked them up. They were some college professors, and I come from that background, but they just talk down to you. They don't add anything to the movie, so I really wish they had just left it off, but you can obviously watch a movie without it. I would have rather, if you're going to do any special features, why not bring in Vanilla Ice himself and have him do commentary 30 years later? That would be a lot more interesting to listen to. That's what I would do. That's my only real gripe about it, because everything else is pretty good. Now, the movie itself, I will give 3 stars, being generous, because 1991 was a great year of my life, and so that period is kind of captured here. I mean, there's plenty to make fun of. There's videos dedicated to make fun of it, and the material's there. So I'm giving it 3. The Blu-ray itself, I'll give 4 stars. I would have given it 5, but the commentary kind of turned me off a little bit. So I'll give it a 4. I think they could have done something else. But as far as the transfer and the sound is amazing. So that's there. So overall, I'm glad I picked it up. I'm admitting that I picked it up. A lot of people probably aren't, even though on Amazon it's selling pretty well for a Blu-ray of this market. So go figure. So it does have some fans out there. Are you a fan of it? Let me know in the comments below. And overall, this movie is a guilty pleasure of mine. Imagine that.